Hey everybody, Ashley from Book Tomato here, and today we're sharing one of our favorite Southern style stories, as well as a fabulous Southern style pie recipe just in time for Thanksgiving. Today's story is called Flossie and the Fox by Patricia C. McKissack, and it's basically a retelling of the classic Little Red Riding Hood folktale, Southern style. And I really like what the author wrote at the beginning of this book to kind of explain her inspiration for her writing. So I'm going to read that to you now. Long before I became a writer, I was a listener. On hot summer evenings, our family sat on the porch and listened to my grandmother tell a hair-raising ghost story or watched my mother dramatize a Dunbar poem. But it was always a special treat when my grandfather took the stage. He was a master storyteller who charmed his audience with humorous stories told in the rich and colorful dialect of the rural South. I never wanted to forget them. So it is through me that my family's storytelling legacy lives on. Here is a story from my youth, retold in the same rich and colorful language that was my grandfather's. I love that. And this story starts with a little girl named Flossie who lives with her grandmother in Tennessee on a farm. And Flossie's grandma calls her over one day and says, "I need you to deliver this basket of eggs to a neighbor." And that neighbor is Miss Viola. And Miss Viola has a problem. Her chickens won't lay any eggs. And Flossie's grandma tells her the reason they won't lay eggs is because a fox keeps coming around their chicken coop every night and stressing them out and scaring them, and so they won't lay any eggs. And Flossie tells her grandma, "Well, I've never seen a fox before. What does one look like?" And her grandma says, "You'll know when you see it because it's the slyest and trickiest animal in the forest." So Flossie starts out on her walk through the woods to her neighbor's house, and of course she meets the sly fox. And he does everything in his power to try to trick her out of giving the eggs to the neighbor and giving them to him instead. Luckily, in the end, Flossie makes it out of the forest, tricks the fox, and Miss Viola gets her eggs. So it's a good, happy ending. And it has a good moral lesson about not being fooled. And I decided to pair this book with a chess pie recipe because chess pie makes me think of those eggs in her basket. There are a lot of eggs in the recipe. It's sweet and it's simple and it's that kind of Southern farm food that I love so much. Like most Southern recipes that I love, it stems from a time when we didn't have a lot of money. All the ingredients you might already have in your cabinet right now, so it's super easy to make. So let's get started. Okay, for a chess pie, you're going to need to start by rolling out pie dough into a pan. Now, I will not judge you if you use refrigerated store-bought pie dough, because let me tell you a little secret, so do I, and it's absolutely delicious. I love me some Pillsbury pie dough. I'm not paid to say that, but it's cheap and it's easy. Shh, nobody will know. Nobody will know. So, once you roll it out into your pan, you're going to need to bake the pie crust before you put the filling in. So, you're going to either need to use pie weights if you have them, or if you don't have pie weights, that's okay. A bag of dried beans works just as well. You take some tin foil or parchment paper. I used parchment because that's what I had. And you put your pie weights or your beans, take the beans out of the bag and put them on that. And after that, you're going to put it in a 450-degree oven for about 5 minutes. And then take it out of the oven, take off the weights and the parchment or foil, and then put it back in the oven until it's pretty golden looking. And then you're going to just leave it on a rack to cool off. And by the way, don't worry about having to jot all these things down. I'm going to leave ingredients list and instructions in the video description. So you're all good. Okay, while that's cooling, get out a bowl and your best whisk and start putting ingredients in the bowl. You're going to need a cup and a half of sugar. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of cornmeal, 2 tablespoons of flour, a stick of butter melted, 1/4 cup of milk, a tablespoon vinegar, and a teaspoon vanilla. Whisk all that up really, really well. After that, you're going to need 4 eggs, and you're going to beat those in one at a time. The reason you don't put the eggs in with the other stuff is because that melted butter is going to be warm enough to cook your eggs, believe it or not. And so you might end up with kind of a scrambled egg pie, which might be good, just not what we're going for today. So beat those in, and then pour them into the pie crust. Now that needs to bake at 350 degrees for about 55 minutes. And the way you know it's done is put on your oven mitt and then just jiggle, like open the oven door, don't take it out, and jiggle the pie. If the middle is wobbly, leave it in. If it's not wobbly and it's set, it's ready to come out. Well, there you have it. It's the tastiest pie ever. I love it, and it's super simple. You know, you could make several at a time and freeze them. They freeze really well. And I think it goes great with this story. I love making food with a story theme and then getting to read the story together while we enjoy our snacks. I think that's fun. Well, if you want more great tips on what's happening now in kids' books, check me out at booktomato.net. I'm also on Instagram at booktomatokidsbooks and Pinterest at booktomatokidsbooks. Have a great day, guys. Bye.